Hey, what's up, good people? We want to welcome you back for another edition of The Family Room.
We've had so many people putting in comments and subscribing and letting us know they're enjoying our conversations and things that we are talking about here. My name is Dr. Alicia Ramsey,
Bishop John F. Ramsey Sr.
and we're in Indianapolis, Indiana, in case you didn't know that. In the family room, we talk about faith, family, and finances.
Yes, we do.
And we have a good topic today.
We have a serious topic today. And so we think that you're going to be blessed by it, and hopefully it will just spark some thoughts
Right.
and cause you to process some things in your own life and your own family.
Right. And always know that we are coming from a Christian perspective. So you may see a topic that's being talked about on various individuals' pages, podcasts, from TikTok to Facebook to Instagram. And when you take the opportunity to watch us on YouTube, you're going to find out that we are just like you. We have an opinion on things. We're always going to go and make sure we find a biblical foundation, biblical principles to help you understand what is going on in the world today.
Absolutely. So I want you to sit back and maybe encourage some other people to check this out as well, as we talk about a topic I think was just really pretty riveting, if you think about it.
It really was.
So why don't you kind of open that up?
Well, there was a situation here in Indiana. It happened. People were saying Chicago, but it was Gary, Indiana. So that's the east side of Chicago. And there was a situation where there was a group of middle school students. Yes, I said middle school students that were walking home from school. And as they were walking home from school, there was a parent, a female parent, that was walking her two younger children home from school. So you can tell that her son was middle school. He looked like he was about sixth grade. And then there was a little one that was like elementary. And this group of middle school students started following behind them and literally taunting her son, even to the point where they went up and put their hands on her son. And as she was trying to protect him, to get them to move away, they attacked her.
Sure did.
And it's all on video. And one of the kids was videotaping the entire situation. And it's really hard to watch when you look at it, because her little child, her son, I mean, literally this gang of middle schoolers attacked the mother, the son, and the little girl. And it is said that the mother just got out of the hospital because she has a terminal disease. Some have said sickle cell disease. Some have even said she was pregnant. But the sad part about it, honey, a kid sat there and videotaped this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
The next day, the community was outraged, and the community showed up at the school protesting for something to be done.
Mm-hmm.
Your thoughts on what we've talked about, this situation thus far, and even coming from your role as a pastor, as a bishop?
Well, I think it doesn't say much about us as a community, because there's so many things that we've had people fight to give us the certain rights for certain things, from voting all the way through. And we live in a time where we got options. We have so many options out there as families, as an African-American community. To see this type of thing is just, it was hard for me to watch. As a matter of fact, you were showing me some clips, you sent me some clips, and some of them I couldn't really watch. Because after I saw a certain amount of it, I was pretty much done. But it's sad. But I think there's something, even though it's bad, that there's something good that we can get out of it, hopefully. That's my prayer, and that's my goal for everyone, that we can get something positive out of this. This lady, when you look at the video, you could tell she was very frail.
Right.
You could tell that something was wrong, that, health-wise, even in her movement. When you saw her walking in that, you could tell. She was very, very frail, and she's there trying to get her kid and get them back home safely, and then all of a sudden, you see this happen. Who starts what and all of that, I don't know, and not really concerned that much with that from the standpoint. The problem is the fact that it happened.
Yeah, and it was very evident
Yeah.
that the boy had been bullied by these students, and the parent followed the chain of command. The school had been informed.
Yeah.
That is one of the reasons why that he was being walked to school by dad and picked up and walked home from school by mom. So I'm kind of assuming maybe, these are neighborhood kids or kids that know of him. So this has been ongoing, and the trauma that is inflicting. Many parents, sometimes they don't know what to do when their child is being bullied in the school, on the football field, basketball court, at home. So this parent is following the chain of command, and to see that happen, that type of aggression. What are your thoughts on the parenting.
You know, I think that obviously just from the clip that we saw,
Yeah.
that this mother was doing everything that she could.
Yeah.
First of all, I commend her from the standpoint that you don't always see our parents these days walking their kids to school
Right,
and then
right.
walking back and picking them
Right,
up and that
right.
type of a thing. So I think that that's a very good thing. But I also think that I wish the circumstances would have been different, because if you go back and you look at it, she didn't even have a chance to try to defend herself. And as frail as she was,
Right.
she wouldn't have been able to. It doesn't look like she would be able to do much any way it goes. But what I think about the whole incident is the fact that we need to go back and talk to our kids, all of us.
Right.
You know, even we live here in Indianapolis. That took place in Gary, but we need to talk to our kids, because we don't know when our kids could be in a situation where
Right.
they're being bullied, and we've taken all the steps. We've called the school, we've
Right.
talked to administrators,
Right.
we've explained everything that's going on so that it's out there and they're very much aware of it. And then you still have a situation like this. So I just think that it would be good for all of us to sit down and talk with our kids about how to handle this.
Yeah, and she didn't even fight the kids back.
No, she just
A lot
tried
of
to cover
y'all
up.
would have been fighting kids. And then the parents of those children who were the aggressors would have been calling victim and saying my child was attacked. So if you notice it, she was just sheltering her children and she wasn't fighting the children back.
Right.
And they were, really aggressive in the situation. And what was so sad is the family of the aggressors. One parent did a whole live, had her child sitting next to her, who was one of the strong aggressors in it. The child had a hood on and was just kind of had this little smirk on her face. And the mother was kind of almost like justifying her child and said, well, she's a child. Don't you all say nothing. She's a child. And she's on the cheerleading squad. She's this and that. And that's what's so sad, because if there are not consequences for actions, one day she is going to be a woman. One day she's going to be over 18. She's going to be adult. And in the, justice system, they're not going to slap you on the hand
Yeah.
for things like that when you're over 18.
Right, and yeah, she did. She went on and on talking about allowing the daughter to talk about the things that she's involved in. She's an A and B student, and those types of things. And I think all those things are good and all those things are fine. I said, but I just think that we have to look at the fact that regardless of who you are, what you're accomplishing in school, 1 second like that, you can make a bad judgment that can mess your life up.
Right.
Because in the day of the video age now, something
Right.
like that can follow you the rest of your life. You can graduate
Can.
from college with honors, and somebody see that tape out there.
That's it. It'll never go away. It'll be
Yeah,
there
and they'll
forever.
gain a perspective about you that's gonna allow them to not give you the opportunity to get the job.
Yeah. And what about it from this standpoint? What about for us Christian parents who we are raising our children a certain way? And we've put the guidelines in place. We've given them the biblical foundation. We have them involved in, church. We have them involved in extracurricular activities. We do the prayers, the scriptures, and all those things. And your child still goes outside of your environment and conducts themselves in a way that they're not being raised. I know a lot of parents said, I'm not raising them that way.
Right.
I didn't raise my child to video that going on. I didn't raise my child to speak like that. I didn't raise my child to use physical aggression to solve their issues.
Yeah. Well, I think that there's a multitude of things that we have to do, and I can't go through all of it. But one thing I can say is that you should never stop talking to your kids until they're out of your house. And even after they're out of your house, keep talking to them, because kids are placed in all types of situations, and many times kids place themselves in situations
Yes,
in the
yes.
times that we're in right now, and you got to be able to teach your child how to react to it. Okay, what do you do? Do you run away? Do you run back and try to find a teacher or administrator or someone to talk
Yeah.
to? It depends on the environment, but you got to try to find a way to get yourself out of the situation.
Yeah.
I also think that it speaks to us as parents teaching our children about knowing who they are.
Yeah, that's
And
good.
not allowing the environment that you are in to contaminate you.
Right.
And understanding that you're not called to change according to the environment that you're in, but you're called to change the environment.
Yes.
But all of that comes from security and insecurity. And when a
Yes.
child is secure, they're going to be less likely to just go with the flow and what everybody else is doing and find themselves in a situation like that.
And using the resources that you're allotted to, talking to your pediatrician if your child is very, aggressive and uses physical aggression, talking to the school counselor. I know they don't have many school counselors anymore and they're very busy, but you still check your insurance, if you have medical insurance, to see if, you have therapy coverage or if you have counseling coverage, but don't just pray about it.
Exactly.
Because as Christians, it's like, well, I prayed they sent me a no home that Johnny used to be word when he got mad. And, I'm going to take away your game for,
Yeah.
a week and we going to pray. Okay, but why did he use that type of language when he
Yeah.
was angry?
And there used to be a time, especially in our community, therapists and counselors and things of that nature weren't always readily available or
Right.
an option for us, for
Right.
many of us growing up. But it's not that way now.
Right.
And I think that sometimes as a parent that you can't ignore what you see.
Yeah.
When you're doing everything you can to school your child on how to respond to this, how to do this, how to do that, and this is the way you conduct yourself as a young person, but yet when they go to school, they turn into something else.
Child, and they do it.
You gotta get that child help, and you need to
Yes.
make sure that you're in there with the help that they're getting.
Yes, when I
Because
worked
it's not just the child at that point. There's some
Absolutely.
things that we gotta look at that we're doing.
When I worked in the middle school, I would tell all parents when I was a dean, okay, it doesn't matter the ethnicity, the socioeconomic status, the religious beliefs. They all are going to go through this season of adolescence
Yep.
where they may make choices that don't reflect how you're raising your child. Because never come into a school and say, well, my child would never. Not until you have the facts. Not until you do your research do you realize, because, oh my gosh, the denial tip. There's so many parents that are in denial. One thing I can say about you and I, we are not in denial when it comes to parenting.
Yeah. Yeah.
You are a bishop. I'm the pastor's wife, have my degrees in education, but I still know that faced with temptation, if they are not strong enough, and like you said, have the self-assurance or the self-confidence to know that I need to make the right decision, not just for my parents, but I need to make the right decision for me
Right.
and my future.
Right. And when someone comes to us, example, if an administrator comes to us about something concerning our child, we don't fight that administrator. We don't go off on them. We don't use foul language in any context. We take note of that.
Absolutely.
We take it home. We have that discussion.
And we're going to
Those-
research.
Those people are not paid enough money to be trying to point your child out,
Right.
to attack them, to be racist towards them. Now, I do understand racism exists, but I'm simply saying everything is not racism. Some of these
Right.
educators are really trying to not just educate the kid, but they're also trying to develop them.
No, that's absolutely it. And if you're just joining us, go back and watch it from the beginning. We are talking about a situation that happened in Gary, Indiana. You could type in Chicago, Indiana, where there was an altercation between a group of middle school students and a parent. And I am so thankful that the community stood up for this mother,
Yep.
that the community stood up for these children and said something needs to be done. Now, do I think you throw kids away? No, we don't think you throw kids away, but you do get them the help and the support that they need
Yeah.
in order to get this negative behavior extinguished.
And there has to be consequences.
Consequences.
There has to be. You can give them all the help you need, but
Right.
if they never get consequences,
Right.
then they're going to think that the behavior that they exhibit, well, they're just going to sit down and talk with me. I'm going to go to the counselor a couple of times and then we cool.
Yeah.
But there's got to be consequences from within that house.
And it doesn't work that way. So as we close out this segment, we have a little information for you about our Work Hard, Play Hard. So we recently played hard because we took an extended vacation together and we spent some quality time together. And I feel like that was a big plus for you and I to spend quality time together without being interrupted by the children, without
Okay.
having the demands of the church or
Yeah.
all the other things we have going on. And I feel more couples need to play hard together.
I think so too. I mean, I feel the same way that you do. Our 30th anniversary was in August.
Yeah.
But we were preparing for a big trip. So
Okay.
the trip took place here a couple of weeks ago, and it was amazing.
Right.
It was amazing. I enjoyed everything about it.
Yeah.
And I do think that people need to do that.
Right.
You know,
Plan for it.
put yourself in your budget.
Yes, put yourself in your budget. That's
Put you and
good.
your spouse in your budget so that you can be able to do some of these things. People think that we just do whatever we want to do now. I tell people sometimes everything we do, we got to prepare for it. We got to plan for it like anybody else. But after 7-8 months of planning and preparing and saving,
Yeah.
it was incredible.
That is it. So make sure you continuously date each other. So yes, we're talking about the middle school students and the situation in Chicago. And I don't know, if the parents are married, not married, bonus mom, bonus dad, whatever that situation may be. But it is possible to get so stressed out and so worn out from parenting because there's no balance in your life. Like you work, take care of the kids, work, take care of the kids, work, take care of the kids. And you aren't as attentive as you would want to be because you are exhausted from just doing that. And I feel that when we tap out in those moments and take those breaks,
Yeah.
we are even better parents. Of course, we're a better husband and wife,
We
but
are.
we're also better parents.
Absolutely. I remember one time that you went out of town. You used to take the ladies' trip with the ladies that you work with. And at first I'd be like, man, she's going to be gone for a few days. I got to figure this out, all this type of thing. After a while, I was looking forward to it.
But that was a short one.
Those were very short.
That was like
and when
a
I talk
Friday.
about length, we're talking about the fact that they're doing it because so many don't do anything.
Right.
That's where I'm coming from with that.
Right.
And so the point of the matter is when there is something like that taking place, encourage it with your spouse, but also make sure you get that time together.
Right. And tag in what you need, the resources you need. Dads can't always multitask the way we multitask. It's okay to tag somebody in. The grandparents may tag in, godparents may tag in. It's just about everything getting accomplished and getting done because dad still has to work and things still have to get done.
Absolutely. Listen, thank you so much for being a part of this family room. We want you to leave some comments, maybe some advice that you have that should be done in circumstances like that. We'd love to read it. We'd love to check it out. So until next time, we will see you right here in the family room.